She gave me divorce papers on my birthday, right in front of everyone I cared about. Then, I disappeared without a trace for an entire year. And when I returned, I was no longer the man she remembered. This isn't just a story about betrayal. It's the story of a man who came back to settle the score. If something like this has ever happened to you, or even felt close, then this story is meant for you. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, because what's about to happen will leave you speechless. Stay with me until the end. Every twist is interconnected. It was my 38th birthday. The cake was perfect, the lights were gentle, and everyone I loved was in that room. I remember my daughter jumping into my arms, just as Amber, my wife, called everyone to join the celebration. She looked beautiful in a blue dress, smiling, laughing, pouring drinks for the guests. You'd think she was the happiest wife alive, but now I know she was just setting the scene. She waited until after the cake, after the crowd sang and clapped. She leaned in, kissed my cheek, and said, "I have a gift for you." Then she took out an envelope, white, clean, and neat, just like her lies. I smiled, thinking it was a handwritten letter, something emotional. But the moment I opened it, my world turned upside down. Divorce papers, typed, signed, filed, handed to me in front of everyone. I remember standing there, my fingers frozen, guests staring, someone's wine glass slipping from their hand. My brother stepped closer, whispering, "Is this some kind of joke?" I looked at her. Nothing. Not a single reaction. Just that cold, distant look, like she was handing me a receipt. "What is this?" I asked, barely able to speak. She tilted her head like she was already bored. "We've been falling apart for months. You just didn't notice." Then she turned and walked away, leaving me surrounded by a silence so deep, no one could even blink. I didn't go back home that night. I couldn't. I packed a small bag, took my car, and drove until the city lights vanished behind me. I didn't answer any calls, didn't even text my daughter. I simply disappeared. But I wasn't running. I was watching. I was learning. And quietly, I was becoming a version of myself no one saw coming. The kind of man who doesn't return to beg. He returns to destroy the lies. For an entire year, I was a ghost. No social media, no phone calls, no trace. I knew Amber thought I had fallen apart, that I was out there somewhere, drunk, heartbroken, losing control like some abandoned loser. That's what she was counting on. That's what they all were counting on. But what she didn't know was that I wasn't hiding in pain. I was building in silence. I moved to a city 3 states away, changed my number, started fresh. I worked construction by day, studied at night. I wasn't chasing a dream. I was preparing for a war. I sold my car, lived in a small basement apartment, with flickering lights and a leaking pipe. But every dollar went toward one goal: the comeback. She took everything from me that day. Our house, our savings. She even lied to my daughter about why I left. "Your daddy abandoned us," she told her. I found out through a friend who slipped and mentioned it. That was the day something snapped inside me. It wasn't sadness anymore. It was anger. Focused. Silent. Patient anger. During that time away, I learned 2 things. First, Amber didn't leave me for freedom. She left me for someone else. A man she had secretly been seeing. A man I once considered a friend. Second, they were using my name to access some of my business connections, contacts I had built from nothing. They thought I was gone for good, buried in grief. But I was watching. I knew everything. So, exactly 364 days later, I came back. Not with flowers. Not with apologies. With a plan. I didn't go to her. I went to the law office where she filed the papers. Walked in wearing a sharp, tailored suit, looking nothing like the man she once humiliated. I asked just one question. Who helped her file these documents? The clerk stuttered, nervously pointing to the back. That's when I saw it. His name. The man she left me for. But he wasn't just her boyfriend. He was her lawyer. He had played both sides. And suddenly I understood. This wasn't just betrayal. This was manipulation on a whole new level. I walked out without saying a word, because that day I knew exactly how this story would end. But the real twist? That night, after one full year of silence, I sent Amber a message. 3 words. Dinner tomorrow. 7 p.m. She replied in less than 10 seconds. Where? That's when I smiled. She had no idea what was coming. The restaurant was upscale. Dim lights, quiet tables, the kind of place we used to go before everything between us rotted. I sat by the window, wearing a dark charcoal blazer, sipping water slowly. Every second passed heavily as I waited. I wanted her to walk in first. I wanted to see that look on her face. And when she finally arrived, it was perfect. Amber walked in, as if nothing had ever happened. Hair curled, lips red, wearing a dress tight enough to show. She still craved attention. She smiled like it was some sweet reunion, like I was just a phase. She could flirt her way back into control. She slid into the seat across from me, like we were celebrating our 10th anniversary, not dealing with the aftermath of a cold, calculated betrayal. You look different, she said, eyeing me like she couldn't recognize who I was anymore. You don't, I replied, calm and flat. There was a pause. Then she reached across the table, touched my hand. I missed you, you know. That's when I knew. She still didn't understand. I leaned in. Why did you really do it, Amber? Her smile faded slightly. Do what? Hand me divorce papers on my birthday. In front of our daughter. In front of everyone. She blinked. Her tone turned sharper. You were always distant. Emotionally, physically. I waited for you to change for years. You never did. So, you replaced me with your divorce lawyer? I asked. That made her freeze. Just for a moment. You think I don't know, Amber? I whispered. You think I vanished because I was broken? No. I disappeared so I could return prepared. She pulled her hand back. Her guard was going up. Why did you ask me here? I leaned closer. To give you a chance to admit the truth. One chance before things get worse. Worse? What are you even talking about? That's when I dropped the envelope on the table. She hesitated, picked it up, and opened it. Inside were photos. Dozens of pictures. Her and him at cafes, leaving motels, in his office late at night. There were timestamps, receipts, bank records showing transfers from our joint account to his. She looked up, eyes wide, mouth slightly open. You think you destroyed me? I said quietly. But all you did was rebuild me. Her hands trembled. What do you want? I smiled, slow and controlled. I don't want anything from you, Amber. Because I already took it all back. And right then, her phone buzzed. She glanced at it. Her face turned pale. I already knew what the message said. Because I made sure it was sent. Right on time. Your house is being repossessed. Your bank accounts are frozen. Legal investigation pending. From the Attorney General's office. Her lips parted, but she had no words. I stood up slowly, dropped some cash on the table. Happy anniversary, Amber. And I walked out, leaving her exactly how she left me. Shocked, broken, and completely alone. The next morning, the news broke. Local law firm under investigation. For fraud, embezzlement, and conflict of interest. Amber's new lover, her lawyer, was all over the headlines. The same man who helped her file for divorce. The same one who used private financial records to drain money from our shared assets was now facing criminal charges. And the best part? All of it had been triggered by a single anonymous tip. Mine. For months, I gathered evidence. Quietly, patiently. I studied law during those long, lonely nights. I partnered with a whistleblower attorney. I learned how they broke the rules and how to make sure the law would not forgive them. Amber called me 12 times that day. I didn't answer. She messaged me. Please, let's talk. I didn't know what he was doing. I swear. Lie. I had the texts, the ones she sent him, mocking me, laughing, saying I'd probably end up living in a van, crying over country songs. I had voice messages where she said, "He doesn't even fight back. He's so easy to control." She forgot. People like me don't explode. We plan. That night, I finally called her, just once. Her voice cracked the moment she answered. "I don't know what's happening," she said. "Everything's being taken. They're saying I might lose my license, my real estate agency, everything." "You will," I said. "You're doing this to punish me?" "No," I said calmly. "This is justice." She went quiet. I could hear her breathing, shaky, trying not to cry. Then she asked, "Is this about revenge?" And for the first time, I paused. Not because I doubted, but because I realized something more dangerous than hate had taken root in me. Clarity. "This isn't about revenge, Amber," I said. "It's about making sure no one ever believes they can rip someone's soul apart and walk away untouched." "I made a mistake," she whispered. "But I didn't know you'd become this cold." "You left me no choice," I replied. "You turned my daughter against me. You humiliated me in front of everyone. You buried me. And I let you believe I died down there. But I didn't. I grew." She broke again. Tears, sobs. Real or fake, I couldn't tell anymore. But it didn't matter. The damage was done. Everything she built on betrayal was now falling apart. Her house was gone. Her career finished. Her lover about to face jail time. And me? I was finally free. But I wasn't finished. Not yet. Not until my daughter knew the truth. Because she was the only one who ever truly mattered. And I still had one last move to make. I waited outside her school. It had been nearly a year, almost 12 months since I'd last seen Mia. She looked older now. Her hair was longer, her shoulders a little slouched, like she had been carrying the heavy burden of her mother's lies. My chest ached, watching her laugh with a friend, completely unaware that I was standing just a few feet away. I didn't want to ambush her. I wanted to earn her attention. So I waited until her friend left, and she stood alone, looking down at her phone. I approached slowly, not knowing what would happen. "Mia," I said gently. She turned and froze. Her eyes widened. Her lips parted in shock. "Dad." Tears filled her eyes. "You're alive?" I nodded. "I never left you," I said. "Your mom just made sure you couldn't see me." She looked away, confused. "She told me you abandoned us, that you were sick, dangerous." I sighed. "I know." And I let her say it, because I needed time to fix things the right way. "But I missed you. Every single day." Her voice cracked. "Why didn't you fight for me?" I reached into my pocket and pulled out a small flash drive. "Because I was busy building this. Everything your mom did. Every lie. Every secret. Every betrayal. It's all on here." She stared at it, then at me, saying nothing. "I didn't come to blame you," I said quietly. "I came to earn you back." She looked down, then slowly reached out and took my hand. "Can we talk?" she asked. "Just somewhere quiet." I smiled. Tears stung my eyes. "Anywhere you want." That evening, Amber stood on her empty porch, watching movers take away her last remaining things. Her phone buzzed. Again. Another notification. A court summons. Custody reevaluation. Attached to Mia's statement. She opened it, and there, in Mia's handwriting, were 3 simple lines. "He didn't leave us. You pushed him out. I want to live with Dad." Amber dropped the phone. For the first time, she understood. She had lost everything. Her husband, her career, her daughter, her reputation, and me. I stood in the driveway of my new home. Inside, Mia was setting the table for 2. I was finally at peace. Not because I got revenge, but because I got her back. So, if you've ever been betrayed, if you've ever been tossed aside, like your love meant nothing, know this. You don't have to scream. You don't have to beg. You just have to rise. Quietly. Powerfully. and let them watch from the ashes they created.